Imagine you are about to go on a long hike where you are preparing yourself to go and hike a huge mountain, say somewhere in the Himalayas. Now, as you prepare, you want to put together the essential items you may need to take with you on the hike. It could be perhaps some food, some rations, some ropes, a pocket knife, something to light a fire, a tent, the essentials. But there comes a cutoff point where when you carry and accumulate too many things, it will only begin to hinder your journey, your expedition into the mountains. Very often as we go by our lives, we tend to carry a lot of things with us that slow us down, that drag us down, and make us feel down. And so the way to overcome this, or the way to look at this, is exactly that, to look at it. Self-reflection has been the tool that human beings have been using for centuries to take a good look at themselves, to take a good look at what they have been carrying along the journey, and to provide with the opportunity to let go of the things that don't actually serve us on the journey. I would like to take the time to look into 7 stages of self-reflection, where the purpose is to allow ourselves the opportunity to let go and to reconcile whatever blockages or conflicts that we have within us. Now, you may like to sit down or be in a quiet environment, and as you try to enter self-reflection, you may find difficulty in doing so because your mind constantly tries to distract you. And perhaps this very distraction is the reason why we don't feel our best. Our own distraction is taking us away from directing our attention into the aspects of ourselves that really need the attention. The first stage of self-reflection is to take a look at our fears. Every individual has a fear deep inside them, something that they do not want to happen. This fear could have manifested itself within us at any point in our lives. It could have grown smaller. It could be something that we try to shove to the side. But essentially, if we just allow ourselves to recognize the fear and to take a deep look at it, we are then presented with the opportunity to understand that fear. It is very difficult to just get rid of a deep-rooted fear within us. And so what we may have to do is to appreciate it. Fear is the mechanism that allows us to stay away from danger and survive. But you are sat in your room or wherever you are safe. And so really the fear is very much a projection of the mind. And so if we understand that and appreciate that it's there trying to protect us, and that we don't really need the protection of the fear in that moment, we can then come to terms with it. And as we come to terms with it, the fear would eventually be reconciled. The next stage of self-reflection is to take a look at our deep-rooted guilt. You may go back into your memory and understand, what is it that you are guilty of? What have you done in your life that has made you feel so guilty? It is very important to take a look at this. And it may be moments or memories or areas within ourselves that we don't want to visit. But if we allow ourselves to forgive ourselves, then the guilt is reconciled. The third stage of self-reflection is to take a look at shame. What actions have we done that we are ashamed of? What actions that we have done that we remember make us feel ashamed of ourselves, make us hate ourselves? We've got to take a look at these things. The same way you have the ability to forgive someone else, you can forgive yourself. And it's very important to forgive yourself, because once we can do that, shame is reconciled. The fourth stage of self-reflection is to take a look at sadness and sorrow. What are we really hurt by? What has happened in life that has really hurt us? This one's quite difficult, because a lot of the things that cause us pain and deep sadness within us may be out of our control. But if we allow ourselves to transcend to a higher understanding of the play of life, we may be able to come to terms with it. And so the sadness is reconciled. The fifth stage of self-reflection is to take a look at how we lie to ourselves. We very often tell ourselves constant lies as we move on in this life. We may lie about who we think we are. We may lie directly to other people, to our environment. But essentially, if we take a look at this and decide to speak the truth and be truthful in all our actions, to be real to ourselves, eventually all the lies within us will be reconciled. The sixth stage of self-reflection is to take a look at the illusions, the covers that we have put over ourselves. Realistically, if we look at life through calm eyes, we can see that our opinions, our thoughts, all of our mind's projections create a lot of separation. Our thoughts and ideas create so many boundaries between things. Whether it's having an opinion about a certain race, or an opinion about a certain religion, or an opinion about a profession, whatever it may be, this only accumulates more and more separation within us, opposing factors. And so if we allow these to reconcile and understand that darkness is only known because there is light, and light is known because there is darkness. And the reason why we know there is such thing as day is because we know that there is such thing as night. And so one cannot exist without the other. And so if we take a look at this and see how it's all really connected as one uniting perspective, then separation is reconciled. Now, the final stage of self-reflection is to take a look at attachment. What are we most attached to in this life? If we are very sincere to ourselves and we really take a look at the things in our life that if they were taken away from us, we would chase after it and we wouldn't want it to go. It's as though this is what we live for. If we can sincerely allow ourselves a moment where we are okay with letting go, with everything we are attached to, however dear it may be, however sad it may be, our profession, the things we love, the things we hate, whatever it is, if we can let go of any of our attachments, if we can sit here without anything, then our attachments are reconciled. Now, letting go of attachment can be quite a strange idea to do. How can I let go of something that I really love? Perhaps attachment is our very limitation to the ability to love. Because if you truly loved something in an unconditional way, you would let it be rather than possess it and attach to it and hold on so tightly that you may suffocate it. It is like when a wise man said that when you see a flower and you love the flower, don't pluck the flower, because now the flower will die and it will cease to exist. What you love will cease to exist. And so let it be and appreciate it. That is true love. Now, the way you may decide to reflect on these 7 points, you may like to sit and reflect on them all in one go, or you may like to reflect on each one on every day of the week. And take as long as you need until you feel as though you can move on to the next point. It's been reconciled. Now, I will tell you that this takes a lot of courage. Some of the things we have experienced in our lives that we've been trying to escape from, to get rid of, takes a lot of courage to revisit these experiences. But it only makes sense to go and reconcile, because if you keep shoving the dirt underneath the carpet, there comes a point where you keep tripping over your own carpet. Now, anytime we are faced with a problem or a question in life, the best way to find the answer to that question is to take a step away from the question. Because if we are entangled in the problem of what is happening, it's very difficult to understand how to get out of that entanglement. It's very much like if you are stuck in a maze. The way to get out of the maze is to change your perspective and have a bird's eye view of the maze. And so this way you will almost immediately recognize the solution to the maze, the path to take, and which turns to go through. So, if I could summarize this whole talk into one line, it would be that self-reflection is an opportunity to take a look at yourself outside of yourself.